Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Wednesdays with Wallis at 1 p.m. Got my hat on today, all dressed up. Let me show you what I have on. Can't show you my shoes, but I can show you, oh, look at this fellow, looking out from under here. So here I am, look, isn't this just divine? And it sparkles and it's got all the glitter and things that I absolutely love. And this is the tie from the coat, and I've tied it around my neck, and I've had this for a long time. My family laugh at me. This is my, wrapper necklace, they call it. And the coat is a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Look at it. It's just absolutely fabulous. And I've got the coughs today because I've got really bad sinus, which has been playing up and doing all sorts of horrible things, just before, of course, that you go on air. So, okay, so welcome. And we can have such a good time today because the topic of the show today is how do I stop getting older? Well, it's a bit of a catch question, isn't it? Because unless you've got, some inroads into something I don't know about, like some amazing anti-aging serum or something that's, going to stop you in your tracks, and, in another 50 years, you're still going to be, 50 or 60 or whatever it is you are now. Of course, you can't stop, you can't stop time, and we can't stop ourselves, moving along with that time. But what I do want to say is that the question I'm asking, or the statement I'm making about, how do we stop getting older, is really, really important, because our mindset around aging and the things we say to each other are really important. I mean, when you listen to people talking about, age, and I mean, and I've said it before, even if you read in the papers, things like, older people are a burden, and it's just such crap. It's bullshit. It's rubbish. And it's just nonsense anyway. I mean, no more of a burden than anybody else or any other, segment of our, society. Nose. So let's get the tissues out, because the nose is doing its horrible little thing today. So this whole area about getting older is this. If we think we're old, we're old. If we don't think we're old, we're not old. And I mean, you hear it, and it's a bit of a cliche, really, isn't it? I mean, sometimes I hear all these things and I go, stick my fingers down my throat and throw up. But, this thing about, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And when we dig into that a bit, that's so totally true, because whatever we think, I mean, I don't think I'm old, and I'm 74. Am I old? I don't know, who says? And who cares? I don't. I mean, I've gotten to a point in life where I don't have, yes, I have a nice, healthy ego, thank you very much, I do. But I don't have such an ego that, it's out there, screaming its head off at everything, going, me, I. It's not about that. And the things that I'm doing and the way in which I'm doing them are really about us being inspired, because there's lots of fabulous things about aging. I mean, all right, you're going, oh yeah, like what? Or the brown spots, or the sore knee, or the all the other things that go on around, getting a bit older. Well, we've all either we do or we don't. We've either have to embrace those things and go, okay, well, I didn't do it, but put a bit of makeup on it or something to hide those things. Or, if you've got a sore knee, well, don't walk around too much, or I don't know, whatever you have to do. Don't, so many people pine for and worry about what they haven't got. Everybody's focused on what they don't have, you know, and years ago when I did my counselling advanced diploma, I did a diploma in counselling, and I did one in hypnotherapy, and I did an advanced diploma in counselling and psychotherapy, you know, all those sorts of things. And I loved it because it was all solution oriented. So that means that it was all working on, and I still have a private practice that I operate. It's all about, you know, helping people solve it from where they are, because we have the capabilities to solve these things. If we're depressed, if we're, you know, all sorts of things, and quite a lot of it comes back to, you know, I'm not enough. And we get into worrying about aging because we get into looking at what we've lost, what we don't have anymore, maybe our looks or our mobility, or pardon me, or, you know, just a whole number of things. Oh, I can't do the things I used to do. And I mean, you hear people who are getting a little bit older saying all those things, and quite frankly, that may well be true. And I'm in that boat too. I'm a gardener. I love gardening, but I can't lift the block. Well, I have recently been lifting some heavy blocks and doing some very heavy paving, but in reality, I certainly can't do it at the pace that I did it before, and I can't do the things that I used to do before. And that's just, I just accept that. I can't. And so do I have to rest a bit more? Do I have to stop? Do I have to get myself a cup of tea or a glass? Usually not a cup of tea, it's a glass of wine. But, you know, do I have to get myself something to, you know, have a little rest, gather myself? Yes. So, you know, this thing about getting older is about your attitude about it. How do you feel about getting older? How do you feel about, you know, what do you think about this? And if I can give any practical input to it, oh, I get enthusiastic. If I can get any practical input to you about this, I'm going to say to you, don't focus on what's missing. You know, it's like people who find themselves, or they have an illness, or, you know, they and I get, you know, I understand this totally. You know, I get people who, you know, maybe they've been diagnosed with a particular, you know, illness. Maybe it's not life-threatening, but it's a, you know, a debilitating, or, you know, something like MS or Parkinson's, or, you know, whatever. And you know, the first thing they do is they get into, you know, thinking that they've lost their life, that their life is gone, life as they knew it has gone. And in some ways that might well be so, that there are now new norms or differences they have to, you know, cope with. And I think that's what happens as we get older. As we get older, we have to embrace new ways of doing things. We have to embrace new norms. And I hope, my sincere hope, and I do this through, you know, Bold Not Old, and if you aren't aware of Bold Not Old, please go and look at it, boldnotold.com.au, and in there click on the prompts and join our membership. It costs you a few measly dollars a month to be part of it. Become a member of Bold Not Old and join in and input to the sorts of things that we're doing. And my goal is for that business to be the premier mindset company around positive aging in the world. Is that a big goal, or a big dream? Heck yeah, hell yeah, it is. But it's fabulous. How wonderful to have a big dream for ourselves. And that's another thing. You know, I think when we have purpose and when we have something we're aiming at, you know, what is it that inspires you? What are the sorts of things that, you know, you really, really love doing? Do more of that. I mean, don't listen to what other people say. If you enjoy your gardening, get out in your garden and do more. Is there another, you know, are you tired of the garden and the way it looks? Do you want to, you know, do you want to redo it? You know, do you want to redo the whole thing? Do you want to pull it all out and start again? I mean, nobody says you have to do, you know, lately I've been exploring things like would I like to buy? Would I like to buy a piece of land out of town a bit, in a country area or something? Would I like to buy something and put up a really super ultra modern, concrete structure with, a lot of concrete in it, because I love concrete. And that's not how I live right now. But would I like to do that, and then, in something really, really different, put in my gilt mirrors and put in all my, amazing, collective or collections, inside that? Is it possible? Absolutely. Why not? And so this whole thing about, how do I stop aging? Stop thinking about old. Stop thinking about aging. Stop thinking about getting old. And more importantly, don't go back. You can't drive a car. You saw that ad on the television where the woman looks behind at the kid who's doing whatever, and she, smashes into a pole. Don't look behind you, because you'll only smash into a pole. Look ahead, because what is there and what's gone and what's behind us and what's already passed and what we've already done is done. There's no going back on that. And take a look around you, sweethearts. Everybody around you is getting older. It's just one of those things. And what we have to do is we have to look at what is our attitude around that. What sorts of things are we prepared to listen to? What sorts of things that people say? Do we mumble under our breath, or, would we like to say something and we don't? Well, perhaps we need to. I've been to places and people have, my kids, and they're not little kids. My kids, I have this very adult family around me, adult children, older adult children, because I had them so very young. And I have, adult grandchildren. So when people say, have you got grandchildren? They think that I'm, running around, picking up toddlers or something. That's not how it is. If that comes, that'll be great grandchildren, but not grandchildren. So I have this very adult family around me. So when I go to things and their friends are there, people's voices change. Oh, how are you and what are you doing? And I'm in business for myself. I'm, dare I say it, kids, I am, as legitimate a business person as you'll ever damn well get. So being spoken to like, oh, isn't it nice that you're busy? Or isn't it nice that you keep yourself busy? Is just, it's bloody degrading. It's like, what did I do to deserve you? How did I attract you into my space? So don't get in. If you've got something to say it. Just be you. And I love my friend, my lovely, lovely young friend, Daniel Lismore, who's just amazing and did a TED Talk about a year ago, who's just lives his life as art. If you haven't ever looked at him, Daniel Lismore, and he's got a book out which is just, he's spectacular, he's amazing. We're going to have him on some interviews soon, inputting to our Bold Not Old area, but he's absolutely brilliant. He's a young man in his 30s and he's been spat at. All sorts of things have happened with him. He's just simply absolutely spectacularly amazing, Daniel Lismore. And I love it. I love when Daniel says, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And you know how true that is. Oscar Wilde said that. Be yourself, everyone else is taken. Who the heck else do you want to be? So be the best you can be. And forget this thing about aging. You can overcome aging. Aging doesn't have to be what you think it is. You can do better with this. You can. And I'm going to help you do it. Please go to boldnotold.com.au and join our membership for those few dollars a month that you'll be paying, which is a mere pittance, about 60 cents a day or something. If you can't afford that, I'll go I better teach you how to make money if you can't afford that. And next week, Our subject next week, and we're growing all the time. Our subject next week is why money matters. And that'll be a lively topic, because I have a very lively discussion around why money matters and why it's important to have money in our life. And, you know, the things that rich people, you know, don't hear. And so I'll be back next week with Wallis. Wednesdays with Wallis at 1 p.m. See you then. Hope you had a great time. Hope you enjoyed our little chat, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.